Hi everyone, I'm Amy Norton, Inside Flow Pro teacher, and today I'm bringing you 5 tips that are going to help you have a great start to your Inside Flow journey. So maybe you've already done an Inside Flow class or tried out some Inside Flow movements with us. We often get questions from people who are starting out with Inside Flow, and I'm going to take the time today to answer some of those for you so that you can have the best start possible.
What should I focus on when I start with Inside Flow?
So when you begin practicing Inside Flow, there are a lot of different things that are happening at the same time. We're moving with the music, we're concentrating on the breath, and also feeling our emotions too. So when you begin, I think it's always good to be clear with yourself that there are going to be some parts that won't work out straight away. So when I began with Vinyasa Flow, for example, it was really difficult for me to combine the movement and the breath. So I would recommend that you first start by concentrating on the movements, on understanding the transitions, on understanding how to get from A to B, and that you then start to add in more focus on the breath as you become more comfortable with the movements. And once you've got your breath and your movement together, then you can start to really turn the gaze inwards and feel your emotions as you go through your flow.
I don't think I'm fit enough for Inside Flow.
So Inside Flow is definitely a physical practice. It's one where you can get into a sweat, which we love. But, there are lots of different types of flow that you can practice. There are different levels, different speeds. So at the beginning, I recommend choosing a flow that fits to your level of fitness. But also remember to give yourself time. Everything takes practice. And, Inside Flow is going to also help you to really build up your condition as you get more into the practice. And of course, within any practice, you can always take a break. Take a moment just to watch whatever video you're practicing with, or maybe even kind of go back a few seconds just to look at a movement again so you can see it visually before you do it yourself in your body. So while we all flow together as one, you can still make the practice individual and take the breaks that you need. And I promise with practice over time, you're going to really feel a difference.
Do I have to be flexible to practice Inside Flow?
So I hear this question a lot, not just about Inside Flow, but about yoga in general. And again here, practicing Inside Flow is going to help with your flexibility on the one hand, but also it doesn't really matter how flexible you are. A lot of people think that Inside Flow is just an aesthetic practice. But actually, the fact that Inside Flow can look really nice is just a side effect. It's more about how it feels in your body. So as you're flowing through your practice, try not to concentrate so much on how it looks and focus more on how it feels. And then we kind of get out of that mindset of I'm not flexible enough or I can't do it, and get more into feeling how it works within your body so that you can make the practice individual to you. One really good example of this is 3-leg dog. So some people can get their leg all the way up to the ceiling in a 3-leg dog, and some people can only lift the leg a little bit. But for Inside Flow, it doesn't matter, because what matters is that your movement is slow and steady. So whether you only move your leg to a certain height or to a higher height, you can still do it in beat with the music. So if you're only going up a little bit, then it could look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you have more flexibility, it could maybe look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you could see, it's the same movement with a different range of motion, but you're still in your flow, and that's what matters.
Do I have to have yoga experience?
So of course, it's helpful if you've done some yoga before so that you know some of the movements. But I've also experienced a lot of people that haven't done yoga before, and they've started practicing yoga with Inside Flow. So as I mentioned in the previous points, it's about being patient with yourself, giving yourself time to get used to the movements. But most importantly, the crucial thing to bring along to your Inside Flow practice is openness. There'll be movements that you don't know, whether you've done yoga before or not. will be maybe using music that you don't usually listen to, and that's okay too. Inside flow gives you a space to try out new things, to open yourself up, not only to the practice, but also to yourself.
Do you have any tips to keep myself motivated?
So when it comes to staying motivated in your practice, one thing that I think is really great is to have a goal. So your goal when you start practicing inside flow, for example, could be to have one flow that you learn so well that you can do the flow with no instruction at all in your flow state so that you can concentrate on what's going on in here. So that could be one goal, for example. Or that you focus on specific movements that come up in inside flow, like Wild Thing or Flying Warrior. Another thing that really helps me to stay motivated is keeping my practice varied. And the great thing about inside flow is that there are thousands of inside flows, and each one is different from the other. Different music, different movements, a different sentiment. So by bringing this variation into your practice, it will help you to keep motivated over a longer period of time. And just so that you know, there are plenty of inside flows for you to try out in our online membership. And another thing that's really great about inside flow that I think will help you to become motivated in your practice is the community. There are people practicing inside flow across the whole world who you can connect with, both online and offline. Maybe there's even somebody in your area teaching in-person classes, and you can go and experience it in a group. And otherwise, you can always connect with others via Instagram or other online platforms. And if you're already a yoga teacher, there are also teacher trainings so that you can teach inside flow one day. Because practicing inside flow is amazing, but teaching it brings it to a whole nother level. And now that you've heard those 5 tips, it's the perfect time to try out a full inside flow practice. And I have the perfect recommendation for you right here.